Hi guys, it's either Wednesday afternoon for you or it possibly could be Thursday afternoon since you did not have math on Thursday. Let's go ahead and I'm going to walk you through a couple of these problems and then I'd like you to do the rest on your own. These are just working through again percents where they increase or decrease. So we're going to start out with Tom earned $600 last summer delivering newspapers. This summer he earned 20% more. How much did he earn this summer? So what we need to do is figure out, well, what is 20% of 600? So our total amount is 600. They want us to figure out how much is 20% of 600 and add that on to the 600 because that's how much more he earned this summer. So essentially, to remember, the easy, quick way to find out a percentage is we take 600 and we turn our 20% into a fraction first. So in order to do that, I take it and put it over 100 because that's what percent means. And that would turn it into 20 over 100. 20 over 100, which then we turn into a decimal by just dividing, and that moves our decimal place 2 places to the left, which is 0.20. That's the decimal we need to put 2 times by our original amount, our dollar amount. So it's 600 divided by 20, which is going to be, 120. And so that is how much we would need to add on to the 600, which would equal $720. So all we did was turn our percentage into a decimal by putting it over a fraction, doing the division, which we can turn that into a decimal, take it and times, not divide, times by our original number. Then we just add those together for how much he earned this summer. So I'm going to skip down, and if you could do 2, 3, and 4 on your own, and I'm going to do 5 with you. So number 5, this was number 1, we'll do number 5 here. Last year, Alex earned a monthly salary of $250. I'm going to zoom in a tiny bit here. And Ben earned a monthly salary of $180. This year, each of them received a pay increase of 25%. Each of them received a pay increase of 25%. This year, how much more did Alex earn in 1 month than Ben? So in order to figure that out, it says if they both, each of them, received an increase by 25%, I need to figure out what 25% of 250 is and also figure out what 25% of 180 is. Then I can figure out how much more Alex earned in 1 month than Ben. But I have to figure out my 25% first. So just like we just did, I'm going to say 250, and if I take 25%, put it over 100, and turn it into a decimal, it just moves my decimal place 2 places to the left, and I times 0.25, that's what it is as a decimal, by 250, and that will give me what the real number for what 25% is, and that would equal $62.50. So then I just take my $250, I add my $62.50, and that is going to equal $312.50, and that would be how much Alex earned. So Alex equals this much. Now let's figure out how much is 25% of 180. I do the same thing, 180, and I turn this percentage into a decimal by moving it 2 places to the left because we're dividing by 100 if it's a fraction, and it would equal, same thing, 0.25. Then I put that in my calculator, 180 times 0.25, and it's going to equal 45. Now I need to add that to the 180 that he made. So 180 plus 45, and that is going to equal 225. So that is how much Ben. So this is how much Alex. So then my question is, how much more did Alex earn than Ben? Well, obviously Alex earned a lot more than Ben. So it says how much more. So I would need to subtract to find out what the difference is, how much more. And so I would take 312 and 50 cents and minus the 225 that Ben made, and that would equal $87.50, which would be my answer of how much more Alex made than Ben. So hopefully you can break that down. You need to find the percentages first by turning that percentage into a decimal and timesing by your original number. Then you can find out how much more they earned. So why don't you go ahead and do 6 and 7, and I'll do 8 with you. Okay, question number 8. 1 year, a number of subscribers for newspaper A was 7,600, and the number of subscribers for newspaper B was 3/4. So don't let this throw you off because it's a fraction. Of the number of subscribers for a newspaper A, and this is also number 7 was a fraction. So if you had problems with that, hopefully you can check it through this one since it's a fraction. The next year, the number of subscribers for newspaper B increased by 25%. Find the total number of subscribers for newspaper B the next year. So the number of subscribers for newspaper A was 7,600. For B was 3/4 of the number of subscribers. Well, if we go ahead and in order to put 3/4 into our calculator, we can just do the division. Remember, the top dog always goes in your calculator first, and if I take 3 and divide it by 4, that equals 0.75. So all I have to do is say, okay, if it's 3/4 the numbers of subscribers, I go 7,600, and I'm going to times it by 0.75 because that's what 3 divided by 4 equals, and that's going to equal 5,700. So that would be the number of subscribers for newspaper B because that's 3/4 of what newspaper A was. The next year, the number of subscribers for B increased by 25. So if I had 75 and increased by 25%, 75 plus 25 would equal 100%. So find the total number of subscribers for newspaper B the next year. Well, if it increased by 25 more percent, that would be increasing by 100% of our original number. So if it increased by 100%, that would just be 7,600, and 100% would be 7,600 again, which if I add those together, it would equal 7,600. Sorry, my calculator's not working very quickly. That's actually a really easy one to do in your head. It's 15,200. So if that is the total number of newspaper B, this is what the total number of both of them would be, but actually, sorry, they're asking you the total number of subscribers for newspaper B. So just the newspaper B, I'm sorry, I don't mean to mess you up here. I was thinking that it was 25% above the original 75%, but it says right here, the next year it increased by 25. So it would be an increase of our original number here that we found right here. So it increased by 25%. I just need to find 25% of our new number there that we found, so 5,700, and I'm just going to times it by 0.25 because that's this percentage in a decimal form, and it would actually increase then by 1 5,425. So I would add that on to my 5,700 because that's how much it increased by. So I need to add those together and my total would come to 7,125. And so that's your original answer. Sorry, this messed you up because I read the question wrong. That's why it's important to read directions. So hopefully the fractions don't mess you up. Just remember, I just need to put the top dog in my calculator first for that fraction and do the division. So 3 divided by 4, if 3 goes in first, and it is going to equal, put it in a decimal form for me, that then I can say, okay, then that would be decimal form 7.5. If I put that over 100, it's just 75%. But I need it in a decimal form in order to do it in my calculator. So if you could do 8 or 9, 10 on your own, and we are not doing 11, hopefully that makes a little more sense to you. If not, please let me know before class. Have a great day.